Hello, my friends. My name is Joe Theodore, astrologer and teacher, and this video is all about Aquarius risings. So if you're an Aquarius rising yourself, or you know someone that is an Aquarius rising, please feel free to leave your experiences in the comment section below. I always think that's important during educational videos, and especially in my series, when people leave those types of comments, because it allows a lot of people to learn whenever they decide to stumble upon the video. And yeah, if you are new, I hope you enjoy this video. And if you do, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button. All that stuff really will help my small channel grow here. And yeah, I would just really appreciate that. So yeah, guys, we're going to go right into some conversation around Aquarius energy, and then also what the rising sign is, right? And the rising sign, in the simplest of terms, I don't know why people complicate astrology so much. If you really want to learn like the deep fucking history of stuff, and excuse my language, but hey, this is an Aquarius rising video. Aquarius is all about, hey, we don't care if we curse here and there. Not that I'm an Aquarius rising, but if you want to learn the deep insight on rising signs, guys, I mean, the only podcast I can really recommend is the astrology podcast. I think Chris Brennan goes deep on that stuff. But generally speaking, for a quick little insightful video from my perspective, we're going to talk about Aquarius a little bit. We're going to talk about what the rising sign is, and we're going to say, hey, the rising sign doesn't have to be that complicated. It literally is your first house, right? So in traditional astrology, which is an astrology practice I utilize, along with some modern astrology, we utilize whole sign system, whole sign houses, right? So every single house topic is one entire zodiac sign. So all of Aquarius for you in whole sign house system is the first house. So there's no cusps. We're not dealing with blending of energy for your first house. We're talking about you are straight up an Aquarius rising. That's it. Your entire first house of self, identity, your beingness, where people see you in this world. You're Aquarius through and through. So your rising sign, along with your moon and your sun, are the biggest three of your genetic astrological makeup. The reason is because that's where people see you. People see your sun sign when you shine in this world as you mature and grow older. Your rising sign is where you're always seen. People immediately see you and they get that rising sign energy just pop right off of you. And then your moon sign is really how you innately think, right? It is your innate nature of as a thinker. And also the way you emotionally receive and what makes you feel safe. So that's why the rising, the moon, and the sun are really the three biggest parts of our birth chart that we must really know the ins and outs of, so we can make sure we're regulated and we're kind of like on the right track, right? So Aquarius, we're dealing with fixed air ruled by Saturn, okay? So your chart ruler is Saturn. So whenever we know what our chart ruler is, right? Whatever planet rules the first house in astrology rules our entire existence, pretty much. So where is Saturn in your birth chart though, right? Because that story is very much tied to your identity, okay? There's a lot that's going to go on to where the world sees you involving where Saturn is in your birth chart. And if you need more clarification on what that stuff means, I mean, that's why people see astrologers, guys. So, but the fact of the matter is, what house topic is Saturn in? Because that's very much tied to what you are going to be known for, what you are seen as, right? And Saturn is a planet of, discipline, maturity, right? A planet that doesn't like to be told what to do. It likes to tell other people what to do. And it likes to tell people, hey, don't tread on me, right? I'm going to do this my way. I know it may take a long time. I'm going to do what I want, right? Because Aquarius is very what? Here's some key words: individualistic, assertive, independent, humanitarian, inventive, original, eccentric. Yes, opinionated, intellectual, idealistic, cool, friendly, and yes, a little detached, because it doesn't want to be told what the fuck to do. You know, it wants to, be told what to do if it's going to help them and benefit them. So Aquarius is very rebellious. Aquarius is very revolutionary. And when we talk about Saturn, we're talking about maturity. There's a reason why that these significations for Aquarius are very much alive and well. And that's because Saturn is mature, right? Saturn is maturity. Saturn, we grow into what Saturn wants to teach us our whole entire life. And Aquarius risings are always going to be seen as the ones that want to go their own way, the ones that don't need help, the ones that are maturing the fastest, right? So a lot of the fixed signs, right? Because that's the other thing. Aquarius is fixed energy, which means there's a stubbornness to Aquarian energy, which means there is a lack of flexibility in some regard, right? Now, the only thing that can change up that particular stereotype, if you will, is if there's other stuff going on in the birth chart that makes somebody a little bit more adaptable. Like if you have a lot of Gemini energy, but you're also an Aquarius rising, there's definitely going to be room for, oh, I'm open to this idea, or like, oh no, I want to learn more about that. Like I'm cool with that. But the Aquarius rising, for some reason throughout one's life, because again, the first house of self, of your image, your first impression upon the world, people will see you as more of that mature figure, that person who is not afraid to take off to another country and go do something for a couple of months. Someone who is not afraid to live alone, okay? Saturn people are not afraid to do things by themselves. They're not afraid to go against the status quo. They're not afraid to not want to have a traditional lifestyle, right? Or do a traditional job, or have traditional interests, right? So there's a lot of people who are very much into like astrology for sure with Aquarius placements, of course. But at the same time, there's a rigidity to Aquarius that needs to be understood, because you don't want to be too rigid. You don't want to be too opinionated. You don't want to be too, you don't want to be known as someone who is too detached or too, independent or too individualistic and assertive, right? There's a fine line, especially when we're a rising sign, because we need to engage with the world so people can work with us just as much as we want to work with them. And that's the thing. Sometimes Aquarius risings don't even necessarily want to come off a certain way. They don't want to come off like people can't approach them, or they don't want to come off like they're too independent or too assertive or whatever the case may be. Or sometimes they could be intimidating, right? Because sometimes they're really good at what they do. Aquarius risings, people see that they're like, holy shit, this person's like cool, unique. This person has their opinions. They're very intellectual. They're very smart. Like I don't know if I can keep up with them, right? And that's why sometimes Aquarius risings and Capricorn risings too, because they're ruled by Saturn, there's like this resting bitch face element to Saturn ruled people. And it could be like intimidating for others, And same with Scorpio risings, another fixed energy, right? Scorpio is fixed water, and Leo is fixed fire. So sometimes Leo risings, Scorpio risings, and Aquarius risings can be very intimidating to some people. So it's really important that this is understood by an Aquarius rising person. But at the same time, these are the people that will figure out ways to save the world, will figure out ways to help people achieve their dreams and goals. Aquarius rising people will love the collective ideal. They do. It just depends on what their collective ideal is, right? Because some would say in the modern era, there's a lot of political ideologies that think that the modern age and the future should look a certain way. And some people are very convinced on both sides of the political aisle, if we want to just use duality for a second, that they think they're the biggest humanitarians, right? But the truth of the matter is true humanitarianism has room for everybody. And I think Aquarius risings need to remember that. And they also need to always be engaged in things where that can be like kind of front and center as often as possible. So people can feel comfortable approaching them, right? Because I think an Aquarius rising is no different than anybody else, right? And sometimes these Saturn-ruled people become the way they are because for some reason people have been in their life, have just karmic fate and destiny, have come into their life throughout their life from childhood all the way up to adulthood, and may have challenged their worldview. And that's not cool to someone who is a Capricorn rising. That is not cool to someone who is an Aquarius rising. And that is definitely not cool for Scorpio and Leo because they're the other two fixed zodiac signs, right? So the first house, my friends, the self, our identity, where people see us, where we meet the world and the world meets us. This is the rising sign. Where is Saturn in your birth chart? That also paints a very, very pretty clear picture on something involved in your life that's very important, very significant to your identity and yourself. And however that story plays out is unique to all of us. But your chart ruler is Saturn. And the best thing we could do when we are fated with our astrological genetic makeup is to take on roles in life that are very much in alignment with these energies, because it will allow us to very much thrive in life, right? So this is why your big three is so important. Where's your moon? Because really that's where your mind and your emotions need to be engaged with in the most balanced way. Where's your sun? That is where you are meant to be seen in this life. That is the energy that will bring you the most illumination, right? And yeah, most of the time the sun kind of has a lot to do with our career, right? And the energy that we need to bring to our career. And then our rising is where people see us. So how do we come to the world fully in that energy and succeed, right? All right, my friends. Well, that's all I have for you today. This, I hope was informative. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.